The first explosion didn't shake her. She'd heard hundreds before, but the scream that followed that broke something inside her. Private Lina Marquez lay flat in the dust, lungs burning, realizing she was the only one who had slipped out of the ambush alive. Everyone else, trapped behind a wall of enemy fire. Their voices crackled through the radio, desperate, fading, each second carving a deeper scar into her chest. She thought she'd never see them again. She was wrong. Lina's hands trembled as she crawled to the ridge above the valley. The air tasted like metal and ash. Down below, 37 soldiers, her unit, were pinned inside a collapsed outpost, surrounded by insurgents who moved like shadows between the rocks. She could hear the murmurs of panic through the radio, the whispered prayers, the quiet bargains with fate, and she felt a rising terror that drowned her breath. If she didn't act, not one of them would survive the next hour. She swallowed hard, forcing her thoughts into stillness. "You escaped for a reason," she told herself. But another voice answered back, called accusing. "Or maybe you ran while they stayed." That guilt settled on her shoulders, like weight she wasn't sure she could carry. But she stayed on that ridge anyway, flattening her body against the scorching sand, wiping sweat from her brow. The wind pushed dust across her cheeks, whispering like a reminder of how alone she was. Her rifle lay beside her, her weapon she trusted, but never at this range. 2,900 meters. No one made shots like that, except maybe in legends, or lies told around campfires. But then a voice came through the radio. Captain Rourke, the man who had believed in her when she could hardly believe in herself. His voice was faint. "Lina, if you can hear me, we don't have long." Her heart clenched. She steadied her breathing, looked down her scope, and felt the weight of a moral question pressing like a blade against her ribs. Was she about to save lives, or gamble with them? One mistake at this range would give away her position, and doom. Everyone below the valley went quiet. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. She adjusted her scope, watching the enemy commander step into view, shouting orders, positioning his men for the final push. Every soldier trapped inside the ruins was depending on her, not because she was the strongest, not because she was the bravest, but because she was the only one left. She blinked once, twice. Then, with her pulse pounding in her ears, she exhaled slowly and squeezed the trigger. The shot tore through the silence, slicing across nearly 3 kilometers of shifting desert air. For a terrifying moment, Lina thought she'd missed until a ripple of shock swept through the battlefield. Below, soldiers whispered. Some stood frozen. Then a roar of disbelief erupted as the enemy position crumbled into chaos. The commander fell. Confusion spread like wildfire, and Lina didn't stop. She fired again and again. Each round was a lifeline thrown to the men she loved like family. Inside the ruins, hope lit the darkness. Outside, the enemy line broke. Within minutes, an extraction convoy arrived, pushing through the dust like salvation given shape. Soldiers spilled out, sprinting toward the wounded, toward the trapped, toward the captives who now rushed out under the open sky alive because of her. When Captain Rourke emerged, covered in dirt but still breathing, the crowd of soldiers parted. They looked at Lina with awe, with gratitude, with disbelief. Some whispered, some clapped, and one young medic wiped tears from his eyes, whispering, "She saved us all." But Lina only shook her head. "I didn't save you," she said softly. "I just didn't run this time." The truth hung in the air, all honest, earned, because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And as the sun dipped behind the ridges, painting gold over the battlefield where she had once felt utterly alone, Lina realized something quiet and beautiful. The same place that nearly took everything from her had given her the courage to take it back. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below and subscribe for more stories of courage, humanity, and the impossible made real. Your story matters, and someone out there needs to hear it.